So first of all, like it's pretty interesting, Scott, how quickly you went from it's a daunting task to have no emails, and then 10 seconds we were at 100. And if you start thinking this way, there's an opportunity everywhere to make an impact via email. And all I mean by that is like there's 20 of those in the console of your car. How about all the emails that you've received from friends? How about, so what I would do very first thing is I would just make a list of everybody I have an email list for. Clients, prospective clients, friends, family. I would just make a list of everybody. I would write a really thoughtful template email that I'm going to copy and paste, and then I'm going to customize a bit depending on who it's going to. And that thoughtful email is going to be something like, one of the most common things clients say to me is, I wish I would have met you 10 years earlier. Right? Something really interesting like that. And just say, we're putting together a weekly email to share those things, that largely like timeless ideas about how to insert your favorite way to talk about money. Like I would be saying something like how to align your use of money with what's important to you. You're getting this email because at some point we exchanged email addresses. So I thought you might find this interesting. Of course, I didn't sign you up for this weekly email, but if you'd like it, just click here. Or secondary option, go here and sign up. Like obviously that's going to lower conversion, then just click here. So that's the first thing I do is everybody I have an email for. And the tweaks of those are like, you know, if you're using a niche, if you have a niche, then obviously that makes it more relevant and change the language a little bit, right? If they're current clients, you probably would want to put a note on that would say that, hey, John, I know we've been working together for 3 years. But one of the things clients that have been around a long time always tell me is that I wish they would have been here earlier. Or one thing clients often say to me as they're leaving the office is, gosh, I wish my friend would have heard this. Or I wish my daughter would have been at the meeting today. And so one thing we're doing with our weekly email is we're putting together those things, these concepts that we share in meetings. And I thought you might like to get those. Right? We're trying to package this up, package wisdom. We're going to make these emails as short as possible, but they're the things that everybody says they remember from our meetings. You know, whatever you want to say, whatever language is there, but client would get a slightly, like a sentence or two that's slightly different, and then your template. I know that's hard work, but it's not that hard, right? Just copy and paste and customize just a little bit. Prospective clients. Centers of influence. So I would just go through that. It's a little, this is why nobody does this, is because it's like, I can't just click a button. I can't just pay. And I'm not saying you're saying that, Scott. I'm just saying this is like, nobody does this because it's just a little too simple. It takes a little bit of time. But once you start doing it and everything, I wish I'd done it more deliberately, because my email list should be 1 million people. You know, like if I just been, I have friends that have email lists of 1 million people, and I don't know if it's really should be or whatever. It doesn't matter. But if I had been a little bit more thoughtful about it a little earlier, the compounding would have taken place. So now you can start, you meet at a cocktail party or a networking event. You can be proactive about that. Hey, John, what do you do? Oh, I'm a financial advisor, but not that kind. Right? In fact, the best way to learn about my work is we send out this weekly email with like timeless principles that we've learned over the last 20 years of working with clients. I'm happy to send it to you. Just give me an email address. I'll make sure you get it. Right? You just start looking all the time, and you add 1 here and 2 there and 5 there and 1 there and 2 there. And then that's just the manual process of email collection. And then take the actual email that you're writing, like every week, and we'll talk more about this in the next session, but every week when you write an email, there's 3 tweets in that email. There's 3 posts on LinkedIn in that email. So you just take a little snippet. And by the way, this is something that many of the AI tools can help you with now. It's amazing. We've taken my content and thrown it in there and said, pull 3 quotes from this. And we literally, I mean, yeah, there's still a human looking at them, making sure that they're right. But we found those to be almost more effective than when we used to have a person doing it. But that's going to get easier and easier and easier. And we're going to talk later about You could take that same email and talk it. Don't read it, but talk it as a YouTube episode or as a podcast episode. And at the end of every one of those, you say, hey, to get this in your inbox, sign up here. So that's, Scott, I don't know if that's helpful. There's no secret here other than just when you start to just train, like I am an idea hunter. So ideas to me, like I have one every day for the podcast and I got 197 in my idea list. Same thing with email. If you're just looking for ways to get permission to make an impact, and this is the way, you're not looking for ways to capture the ability to send email, right? You're looking for ways to make an impact in people's lives. And you know that if they're going to get something every week from you, the chance of you being there when they wake up late at night worried about the next thing, the chance of you solving that problem increases. That to me is what this is all about. Like when I wake up anxious, I think, oh my gosh, Jeremy said something about it in his newsletter last week. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to capture emails. Greetings, Carl Richards here. Now that little clip you just watched, it was just a teeny little bit of this 3-hour workshop I did called Volume 2 Camp. And the only people who could attend this private workshop were people who had participated in either Volume 1 or Volume 2. And Volume 1 and Volume 2 were these collections I did of some of my greatest work. And we put them together in this beautiful content library. So it was 52 essays and 52 sketches. So for the first time ever, both the sketches and the words that go with them, all put in this beautiful content library. And when you buy a seat in Volume 2, which there are still some available, they're limited to 100, and there are still some available. When you buy a seat in Volume 2, what you're getting is a license to use all that material. And not only a license, it's organized in this beautiful content library for you to access anytime you want. We don't just dump a Dropbox folder on you, right? Like this is a beautiful content library you can access anytime you want. So when you're looking for an idea for your weekly newsletter, or you're looking for a visual to put up on LinkedIn or to post on Instagram, or we've had plenty of people actually run ads in their local paper. We've had even a couple people do big billboards, all sorts of creative ways that you can use the sketches and the essays that go with them. We've also tossed some things in like animations for the first time ever, right? It's all part of Volume 2. You also get a 1-hour private conversation with me about how to use the material. And of course, you get access to the recording of the entire Volume 2 camp, which you just saw that little clip of. If that's interesting to you, my friends, just click the link below to get more information.